Welcome to this Insidious The Red Door movie ending explained. While I did love the first movie, the rest have sadly fallen a bit flat for me, like a franchise that could have been so much more. And while I thought Ty Simpkins and his mate were immensely watchable and the college parts were just the best, the ending felt like a setup for future milking of the franchise, as opposed to having a great and memorable ending. The movie continues the story of the Lamberts after the franchise went into the prequel territory and focused more on the story of Elise, who makes an emotional appearance at the end of this flick, and in the last key we learn it was her who left the whole red door open. Patrick Wilson's Josh has haunted for almost his whole life by demons from the further, and did finally succumb to them in part 2. Certain people can astral project into the further, but this leaves them susceptible to possession, which happened to Josh as he went on to try to kill his family but was stopped. Dalton, the son, was also being hunted by the red-faced demon, who here makes an appearance but is nowhere near as scary. This is a demon from the further, but eventually, just like Josh, they were hypnotized to have forgotten everything that happened in the first 2 movies. This has had a terrible effect on Josh, who has brain fog and drifted away from his wife and family, resulting in a divorce, which, you sure it wasn't just long COVID there, and Dalton and him having barely a relationship at all. I suspect that the relationship fell apart because, well, Dalton may subconsciously recall his father trying to attack him with a hammer. However, over time, it appears that the hypnosis has worn off on Dalton, at least as memories start flooding back, as at college in an art exercise by Logan Roy's wife, he is told to draw from this memory and draws the red door that can let the nasty little beings in. However, the nightmare begins anew as the door opens as Dalton drifts into the further slowly over the course of the movie. This mirrors the father who is slowly trying to work out why he is so foggy and tries children's memory games advised by the doctor to remember. I thought him learning about his father and the origins, or trying to find the origins of the family curse or what happened to him, would have been really interesting if they delved deep into that. But him finding his father's stuff, and it was just a simple explanation to something which could have been so much more. He finally learns from his ex-wife how a demon possessed him, leading to the attack on his family, and it infuriated me that Dalton didn't just call his mum. We learned that his father didn't actually go missing technically. He jumped off the building of a psychotherapy hospital because he thought that if he died, well, the curse would end with him. It didn't, but he tried trying to be a hero. Just the kids and Josh were hypnotized, so they'll forget a monster with their dad's face trying to kill them. The lipstick red-faced demon saw the opening of the red door as another chance to take Dalton and possess him, keeping him in his same creepy early 1900 style lair in the further, which is one of the only places that has colour. We never learned too much about the lore of this character, and for a movie that said about finding the truth of everything, they kind of forgot about that, and it was just the truth of what happened to Dalton earlier in his life, which felt like an absolute cop-out. Dalton sees the trauma as he's forgotten what happened as Josh finds him in the further and starts to save him, and explain that he was possessed as poor Chris is stuck IRL to fend off the possessed Dalton, which could have been so much more as well. The pair manage to escape as Josh attempts to sacrifice himself to save Dalton, holding the door shut. I think he should have died here as he stops it for once, and he could have seen Elise, who says, "Let's finally go and see your parents." However, Dalton realises that the painting manifested the opening of the door and painted over it IRL, meaning it was painted shut in the further, allowing Josh to leave. An absolute total cop-out, fake-out rubbish ending. It's a literal patching of a rift between he and his father as they mend their rift, and by the end it seems Josh and his ex-wife can now start to live their life together as the baggage that was forgotten has been remembered. And lastly, Josh realises that his father didn't leave, but his father ended his life so that he thought the Lambert's men curse could end, but, well, it didn't. However, we presumably have a milking here, as the post-credits show the door flickering back to life, and I expect that we may see more of this franchise moving forward. Sadly, I didn't really like the movie as much as I would have hoped when you pay money to go to the cinema and watch a movie. I did enjoy it for what it was, but it could have been so much more. That is it. I'll see you soon, and goodbye.